Be me. Skinwalker. Living the good life out in the woods, got me some fresh deer I've been fermenting for a few weeks now. One day see some new asshole enter my woods. He's got a fucking rifle. Oh shit nigga. Innawoods. I can shrug off bullets somewhat but they still fucking hurt man. Bum around while I wait for him to leave. Get bored and decide to fuck with him a little bit. Nothing serious, laughter, mimicking voices, the whole shebang. Delicious fear.jpg. Get too fucking cocky and the crazy bastard sees me. End up getting fucking shot. Fucking rednecks.gif. Book it the hell out of there. That's why I avoid these assholes like animals avoid my presence now. Stay safe guys. And Moses the servant of the Lord died there in Moab, as the Lord had said. 6 He buried him in Moab, in the valley opposite Beth Peor, but to this day no one knows where his grave is. Listen man, I'm just trying to live out here in the fucking woods and eat rotting deer. I don't need your bullshit. Fucking asshole. I feel for you skin bro.
Be me. Sasquatch. Hunting in the woods. Been smelling deer jerky for a while, got to find it. See a human camp. Stealth mode deactivate.gif. Watch a weird dog man try to spook him. Laugh quietly when he gets his dumb ass shot. Much taller nyungpadawan.jpg. Wait until the human goes to bed, takes a while. Sneak into camp. Kidnap him. Now have new sex doll. I still gotta find that deer jerky. Be me. Lmao. Gathering soil samples in the woods. thatsamegudert.jpg. Find human encampment. Sad, no redneck to probe. Hear loud grunting from a distance away. suagih.png. Look for sound of noise. Find large hairy bip fucking a redneck raw. Grab my mysterious rod. 2 for 1 sale.
Be me. Wendigo. Tracking humans in the woods. Smell a cannibal, an incredibly hairy man, and a very short man covered in metal and glass. Decide to check it out. They're engaged in some sort of orgy, blood, and organs everywhere. Short man is sticking a flashing piece of metal into hairy man and cannibal man. Eat short man and hairy man, metal bits get stick in my teeth. Turn cannibal man into Wendigo. Now I have a friend.
Be me. Mothman. Flying in a woods. Hear terrible sounds of tearing flesh and metal. Go to source of sounds. See weird man in shiny clothes. He's dead. See hairy man. He's dead. See redneck. You know where this is going. Spot other 2 chowing down on people parts. Grab 2 rocks, fly overhead, drop them onto the other 2. Headshot.omen. Drag my 2 new real dolls back to my abandoned bunker.
Be me. Black helicopter. Roflo.choppa. Looking for weird shit in the woods. Looking for witnesses to weird shit in the woods. Want to spawn my men in black to harass humans. Catch sight of some strange mojo. Redneck sees Skinwalker. Redneck gets raped by Bigfoot. Bigfoot and redneck get graped by AYY. Praise it Innawoods.jpg. I can feel the bald heads of my children growing in my cockpit. Fucking Wendigo out of nowhere. Kills I. Kills Bigfoot. Turns redneck into Wendigo. FML.
Be me. Be air spirit. Other air spirits tell me there's some sort of interspecies blood orgy going on down below. Call bullshit, but air spirits insist it's really fucking happening this time. Go down to investigate the meat puppet buffet. MFW fellow air spirits weren't joking. Suddenly a fucking rock falls right through me. My spirit instantly gets sucked into the rock. TFW I'm a rock now. Plummet right into one of the meat puppet's skulls, splattering brains all over me. Am now rock hard.
Be me. Be machine elf. Watch these retards monkey around. It's like none of you want to experience new vistas of reality or get at these machine elf titties. All you have to do is drop acid, but everyone's doing coke or shooting up these days. Sodelf.jpg.
Be me. Tourist visiting the United States who is also a nightmare fetishist. Also a wuss. Hear by pure luck about a freak orgy with a skinwalker, Bigfoot, an alien, a Wendigo and a redneck. Like nature guys, hairy guys, smart guys, skelly guys, and trashy guys. Jackpot. Reach the site as soon as I can, only to find out from a rock that the orgy has been over for a while. Only a weird human with pointy ears and offering me sex. But is female. Leave the place feeling pissed off. I hate this.
Hey/x/erase my story. I come from Germany, so I excuse for any further mistakes in my vocabulary. In the woods at night with a friend in airsoft guns with 10 gel. It's about 11 p.m. in the night and we're in the Black Forest in South Germany. Black Forest is famous for its darkness and huntings. Many legends, many spooky. On the way back home, still had to walk like 800 m to get out of the forest, walking with compass. Hearing boars far away. We walk very silently so we don't get attention of other hunters like wolves or boars, they can easily stomp you in the ground. We hear a loud boom, like a big tree felt down somewhere. Another one, it's coming closer. We stop and watch and listen. Birds fly away from our position. Another boom and cracking noises of tree branches. See something moving far away but can't make it out, too dark. We still look. Another boom, but it more sounded like a stomp of something far too big for this world. I get scared, friend is also scared. Let's go man, what the fuck? Another stomp, this time very close, we could feel it in the ground. We run like we're followed by angry hornets. Another stomp, it's following us. We run faster, it's about 500 m till the end of the forest. I look behind me and can't see shit. Stomp, 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 stomp. Look behind me again as we run across a small clearing. Holy shit, mytherwadisthese.jpg. It's about 5-7 m tall, long-legged, long-armed, looks like a fucking walking tree and follows us. Roo and I scream for my life and we run. We ran out of the forest. Runned across the hayfield, after 2 minutes we stopped. We couldn't hear anything anymore. It was death silence. We talked about that afterwards, but we never had an idea what that was. What was it/b/? A pissed of tree?
When I was 22 I went for a wander around Scotland. Mainly train journeys, but I would hike when and where I could. I cut it short because I stumbled upon some kind of ritual that scared me shitless. I got off the train in a town called Perth and walked and hitchhiked to a place called Pitlochry and planned to continue to Dalwhinnie, but I got lost in the woods. After hours of hiking the sun had set and I saw a light in the woods which I thought was a house or hotel or something. So I got closer but straight away knew it was some kind of ritual or gathering. It was a small clearing with some ruined wall, and from what I could see the people were all dressed in the same dark outfit. They had some kind of crate with them and were gathered near the wall with legit torches and a fire. I noped the fuck out and took off in the opposite direction, and I don't know if they saw me, but there was a shout which came from them. Could have been part of their ritual, or maybe they did see me, but as soon as I made some distance I ran as fast as I could down this hill, almost breaking my ankles like 8 times as I fell and rolled and got up. I lost my pack, but I kept running and found a road which I followed until a minivan stopped in front of me. It was some foreign student group who offered me a lift to town. I almost vomited and fainted from the running, but I had my wallet and cards in my trouser pocket, so I felt some relief. I managed to check into a B&B. The next day I spent a lot of money on train tickets to get home. Fucking terrified me.
Fuck it, been meaning to type this one out for a while. It's a long one, so grab a drink lol. Be me, 16, just dropped out of college. Really needed a job, otherwise parents would kick me out. Live in the middle of nowhere high up north, so couldn't just apply at McDonald's or some shit. Dad asks any of his friends if they have work or know someone who does. One dude, lives even further away from any civilization, says he knows a guy who could use some help. The guy owns all sort of cattle, from cows to domesticated deer, you name it, he probably owns some. It's in the middle of summer, so all of his animals are out on the fields around a mountain he owns land on. It's a pretty normal practice for farmers here. They fence up massive areas and basically let their livestock roam free within to their liking. Usually they'll check up on them every day or hire someone to look after them on the spot. Apparently this year he underestimated his workload and spread his livestock out far too much. That's where I would come in. I would have to live in a little cabin in the middle of nowhere and check up on the surrounding animals every day, fix broken drinking troughs and clean up the paths leading through the woods. Cabin was about 3h away from the nearest village, 6h by foot. Food would be brought to me every week on Friday and I was free to do as I pleased when done with my work. Pay wasn't half bad and it was only for 3 months, so I thought fuck it, why not? Met up with guy, younger man, probably early 30s, seemed kinda on edge but chill, figured he was just stressed out. Gave me some more details about the job, like how the electricity in the cabin worked, solar panel. Mentioned how there was a lot of wildlife and how I shouldn't get scared when I hear weird noises in the distance. Okbra.jpg. Aside from the occasional wolf being in the area, there wasn't too much to be afraid of. Bears hadn't been sighted in years and there weren't any psycho deer, lol. I would get paid to just relax in a nice cabin in the middle of nowhere while doing minimal work. Togudtobtra.png. Took the job regardless, didn't have much choice. Start the next week and get picked up by the guy, now my boss. Drive up sketchy mountain paths through forests further and further away from civilization. Scenery is fucking beautiful, untouched nature, birds chirping, comfortable temperature. Feels good, man. Get to the end of the road, need to hike up 30 more minutes to get to the cabin. Nothing seems or feels out of place, literally feels like I'm on vacation. Grab my backpack and follow my boss up the path. Cabin is about 6,500 feet above sea level, beautiful view of the valley we drove through, pick related, it's the cabin. It's in the middle of a small clearing, even has a creek next to it for fresh drinking water. Boss shows me how to use everything, from the fire stove to the water boiler. I won't bore you with the details. Cabin is solar powered, so I have to watch the battery. Didn't plan on using much tech anyway, so don't worry about it, will be important later. Says that if anything happens I should give him a call, doesn't matter what time it is. Puts a lot of emphasis on the last part. Phone actually has signal, not much but enough to make calls. Explains one more time what I have to do and hands me a map with all the paths I should check. Also includes specially marked areas where the cows I'm supposed to look after oftentimes graze. Leaves, says he'll be on the other side of the mountain looking after his yaks or some shit, wishes me a pleasant stay and leaves. Finally alone.j. Don't have much to do the first day and it's past noon, so I just set up my sleeping stuff, put my food in the cupboards and of course jerk off. Nothing much happened the first few days, I simply repaired holes in the fences. Cleaned shit like branches and rocks off of the hiking paths and looked around the grazing spots to see how the cows were doing. Week 3 rolls around. Nothing special had happened up to this point. Beyond my usual routine checkup of one of the hiking paths. Dead deer lies on the path. It's in a pretty uncomfortable part of the woods, couldn't really put my finger on it even at the time. The place just felt off. Pick related, it's the woods. Was usually covered in shadow since a nearby mountain would block sunlight, so it always had this gloomy atmosphere. Of course I'd find a dead deer specifically here. Deer didn't seem to have been killed by anything or anyone. No flesh wounds, no blood, nothing looked broken. Its neck was weird though. Not snapped but kinda long. I'm pretty sure it wasn't broken though, just unnaturally long. Didn't make a pic of it. You'd see dead animals here all the time, especially in winter, so it wasn't all that special. Couple days go by without anything special and then the howling starts at night. Now for those who don't know, in mating season stags roar to attract females. Look it up on YT if you want to know what it sounds like. It's insanely loud and from a distance it can sound pretty eerie as the echo distorts it. But mating season here is in late August to September, it's early July. Sounds like someone exhaling really loudly, almost like wind but just a tad bit too vocal. Hard to explain. It was windy a couple times and it sounded nothing like it. Think nothing of it, mention it to my boss though that Friday when he delivers me my food rations for the week. Says it's normal, just the wind blowing through the trees. Does mention the fact that there's a hunting rifle left behind by hunters for hunting season in one of the cupboards. Kinda weird how he'd tell me that only now, after I mention the howling. Boss seems on edge again, looks from left to right a lot, from one end of the clearing to the other. Ask him if he's okay and he simply says he just a bit exhausted from carrying my supplies up the mountain. Week 5. Doing my daily routines. Howling in the distance still occurs every once in a while, always at night. I'm not too bothered by it, after all there's tons of wildlife around, any of which could potentially make sounds like that. Echo plus wind probably just distorting it. Find more dead animals on and off paths. Small birds, foxes, and another deer. All of them without any sort of visible wounds or blood. All of them having some body part look off in some way. Necks, legs, their skulls seeming just a bit too long, again can't really put my finger on what it is that feels off about them. It's as if someone opened paint, pasted an image in and slightly stretched a body part, enough to be noticeable but just too little to really stand out. This goes on for a while until week 8. At this point only have 2 more weeks left to go. Boss still seems on edge every time he comes by. Always asks if the cows are fine, without saying hello whenever he shows up. Cows were always fine up to this point, even their calves, none went missing and none looked hurt. Literally the next evening hear the cows in clear distress in the distance. Think one of the is just trying to regain a rank or something in the herd so it charged at another cow. Cows are pretty competitive in their herd, they're always trying to gain a rank or lower another cow's rank. They fight sometimes even to the death, they can be pretty brutal. Decide to just continue sleeping for the night and check it out the next day, sleep with earbuds in, I know terrible idea in hindsight. Next day wake up to bells of the cows outside. All the cows are surrounding my cabin, just kind of standing around, not eating, which is very unusual. I count them as I always do and notice that 1 cow and 1 calf are missing. Call my boss and tell him what happened. He really sounds distressed now and just tells me to look for them. He says he can't come right now as he can't leave his post or something. Pick related, cabin at night. Look for the missing animals but find them nowhere, have to cut search short though as the weather starts to worsen. Cows stay around cabin that night, makes me feel a little safer. Still decide take hunting rifle out of cabinet and put wood cutting axe near entrance. Not a/commando so no clue what model it was lol. That night I notice something weird. There's tiny red lights in the distance. But it's stormy and cloudy, the fog wouldn't allow for light to come this close. There's nothing but wilderness in that direction so it can't be from a village or a car. Light just stays there. Pick related, it's the best pick of the light I managed to make. I know hard and close all the blinds. The light fucking turns off, leaving me in complete darkness. Check the battery next to my bed. It's empty. It was almost full a couple hours ago. This thing lasts for multiple days when it's only used to lights and short showers. Nope, even harder. Use phone flashlight to look for candles and matches. Howling returns, slightly louder than usually, literally sounds like there's whispers within the sounds, barely audible. Lock both the locks on the door and listen to music on my phone all night to keep distracted. Eventually pass out and wake up the next morning. Storm has cleared. Cows are still there but 2 more of them are missing. Kinda losing my shit at this point. Call boss, tell him what happened. Tells me I have to leave right now and he'll come pick me up at the end of the road. That's where it ends, don't really know what happened. Boss didn't talk much on the way down roads, was pale AF, I was too most likely. Didn't feel like talking either. Actually met him at a bar a couple months later, apparently he had sold everything and now focused on beer brewing or something. I asked him about the red lights and he simply nervously chuckled and said it was probably lights on top of power masts to keep planes from crashing into them. There was no power lines anywhere near that place. Tried to recreate the effect in paint with some stock images. Looked something like this with varying degrees of stretching. It never looked like it was forcibly stretched, always looked like the body part just had grown that way.
So/K/. A couple of years ago I bought a tactical SKS online from a forum I venture to. The SKS was located in Dallas, but I'm in Central Texas, and just haven't had a chance to get it. Whenever I'm in Dallas I'm usually very busy for work. So the rifle has been playing safe queen at my uncle's for the time being. However, I am headed up there this weekend for a convention and will have time to get it. I can't fucking wait. TLDR, I'm gonna be ready to go Innawoods. Pick semi-related, it has some of the same gear. What in fuck is done to this poor rifle? Stupid hick American with 10-gallon hat and giant pickup truck looks at perfectly fine Simonov carbon and says no, rifle need more dumb shit on it? What is reason for pistol grip? If you need to fire from hip in emergency, now hand is twisted into painful angle and you miss every enemy. Look at wrong angle of bayonet. Look at cheap plastic magazine that feeds cartridge like constantly jamming Pez candy box. Where did cleaning stick go? I hear of 922 law in America. Adding pistol grip to weapon means you change other parts. What else you fuck? You put new bolt edifice? How about bad fit receiver cover for cheap scope to show off at hick party and never hit largest side of barn? Sure, is only Yugoslav copy type but is still proud design of Sergei Simonov. This is like sending him birthday card with severed off thumb of daughter in envelope. Happy birthday Sergey. I piss on all you create. Large mound forms over Simonov's grave by constant tumbling of his angry corpse. Is fault of people like you. Rifle was fine before you fuck it. Now is trash. Maybe you check in garage and original bolt edifice and wood are still there. Maybe is not too late to keep rifle something not shameful to take to firing range. Take shit of goat away and could still be good weapon.
This was probably 10 years ago. Put this map in a separate window if you want so you can kind of get an idea of where we were at during different points in the story. I wish I could tell this story properly. This was the one night in my life I was truly wondering whether I would die or not. For the backstory. Our location is basically in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota, and 30 minutes from the nearest town big enough for a Walmart, and an hour away from any town big enough to have a normal, albeit small mall. I hope that gives you an idea how middle of nowhere we were. I had this friend, Brandon, who was my main shooting friend. It seemed like we'd always launch off about 1K rounds of 22 LR at gravel pits etc. every couple weeks. We trusted each other like I've never experienced since with anyone as far as firearms and general camaraderie. He had a history of being kind of a troublemaker but was fine around me, partially at least because we didn't go see his other friends while I was with. They were kind of a bunch of douchebags and I didn't want anything to do with them for the most part. He has since abandoned them and realizes that they were nothing but bad influence. On to the real story. So one afternoon when we hung out, Brandon mentioned this abandoned farm site that had a lot of rabbits to hunt in a couple old buildings. So of course, we decided we'd go a little later and hunt and see what we could find. It was supposedly full of rabbits every time he'd been there. The catch today was that there was a new guy in our normally two-man group, a cousin that Brandon wasn't very fond of. Brandon thought he was kind of an idiot. My opinion of him would be equally low by the end of the day. He really was an idiot. His name was Travis. I tried to give him the benefit of a doubt, but this kid really was a dumb neckbeard and it didn't take long for me to realize it. Anyway, later in the afternoon, we took off for the abandoned farm site. We parked the truck at the end of the driveway to keep the element of surprise and sneak up the driveway as quietly as possible. It was probably a little under 200 yards to the actual abandoned farm site from the end of the driveway. About half of the length of the driveway was taller than us, the other half was the thin driveway surrounded by trees on both sides. On one side of the driveway was the main grove, the other was a 10-foot thick wall of trees with tall corn on the other side. It was late afternoon, not too far from sunset, so we had a spotlight with in case we stayed past dark. After the end of the day I'd wish we'd left it home. This is where it all really begins. We walked up the thin driveway surrounded by trees on both sides and eventually broke off and checked out the woods together. There were a lot of details that we noticed as the day went that were not quite right about the place, but we didn't really put it all together until it turned into the crazy night trapped up on that farm site. We went through the large section of woods first. There were paths already made and plants that looked like they'd just been broken off because they were still bleeding water from where it had snapped. We figured it was deer or something we'd scared up. As we went to the bar, we noticed claw marks all over the ladder to get upstairs and pretty much zero cobwebs or signs of life other than those claw marks on the ladder rungs. Actually, there were no rabbits, or any life whatsoever on the place. It seemed like no birds, squirrels or anything, not even flies or spiders. We did think that was a little on the weird side for an abandoned farm. There's not generally a lot going on at abandoned places, but this was on a different level. As time passed, it started to get dark. We had been shooting on and off at different pieces of junk laying around for most of the time we had been there, maybe 2 hours. We had 2 Ruger 10/22s between the 3 of us and my 20 GA 870 pump shotgun. Travis didn't have his own gun, so he used whatever we gave him at the time, usually a 22. As night set in, we grabbed the spotlight and kept exploring around the edges of the woods and behind the buildings. The spotlight was dead in about 5 minutes. Even though we didn't use it much, the battery must have been crap. We were about to call it a night when we heard something rustling in the woods past some shrubby trees. We kept hearing the noise, so we shot into the area and it quit for a minute. Then it came back again somewhere else, but in the same general direction. Because we were so curious about this noise, we stayed past dark because we figured it was kind of a fun excuse to keep going. By now it was very dark, but it was a full moon, so we could still see fairly well, but could see absolutely nothing in the woods, inside of the buildings, or anywhere inside the shadows. And we kept hearing the thing running and moving through the woods with more and more frequency as time went on. It would go away for a few minutes, then we'd hear it on the other side of the clearing behind us. It was at this point we started to get freaked out because we kept hearing it change places every few minutes and it seemed to be stalking us. Eventually we saw it jump out of the woods a foot or two and dart back in. We couldn't tell what it was, but it glared a silverish and pale color in the moonlight. It was the size of a medium-large dog but quick as a cat. Now we knew this wasn't just us hearing things, and of course, freaked us out even more. This went on for a long time with us just standing there trying to figure out how to get out of this mess. We were all scared shitless for hours, shooting into the shadows, occasionally trying to hit it. And of course we didn't want to go down the thin driveway with trees on both sides of it and almost no light. We couldn't even get a hint of light from the spotlight by this time either. We were prepared to stay there all night keeping guard if we had to. And keep in mind, at the time, cell phones were almost unheard of for most people, so we didn't have any communications out of there, because we would definitely have used it by the end. An hour or two into the dark night, we started hearing this thing from 2 places at once, or from both sides too fast for it to be only one thing crunching around out there. We stood there and kind of backed off from the noises we were hearing because it's natural instinct to kind of back away. But we soon realized it was trying to push us into a thinner clearing, and we were almost sure they meant to do that. I'm pretty sure they wanted to get us somewhere where they could attack us from all sides quickly. From that point forward we just stayed in the center of the largest clearing no matter what we heard. At least there was about 10 to 15 yards between us and the woods in all directions. We'd have time to shoot at anything that came for us from that distance. Eventually, around midnight 1 am, we decided we'd make a run for it down the driveway. We were low on ammo, and starting to get more worried as time passed. We decided that the 3 of us would go back to back in a triangle formation covering all sides on our escape. We were 100% convinced that if we got close to the woods, they would come after us though, so we were faced with a tough decision, with the thin driveway being our only escape. Whatever these things were, they seemed damn fast and very unfriendly and unafraid of gunfire. We'd finally made the decision to abandon the spotlight, each take a gun and make our escape. Me and Travis would have the 22s, and Brandon would carry my 20 GA. Unfortunately Travis wouldn't abandon the dead spotlight, so he took it with him for some reason. He was clutching onto a dead spotlight more than his rifle, and we couldn't convince him to set it down even though it had no charge. You couldn't even get a flicker of light from it. Finally we just decided he could take it with him on the way down the driveway. We just wanted to get the hell out of there. We were just about to leave, and then we heard the noises from both sides again, and within a few seconds, I saw one of them run across the clearing on the far side of the farm site. That was not good news. It was scary enough that there might be 2. Now we'd pretty much confirmed that there were at least 3. We made up our minds quickly, and without wasting time, went back to back and started down the driveway while we knew at least one was on the opposite side of the farm and ran the wrong way to intercept us on the driveway. Another was also on the side of the farm we would move away from. So two of our three monsters were at as much disadvantage as possible. We finally took off. We were kind of making a slow escape with Brandon and I facing the main section of woods, and Travis facing the field because we wanted to be the ones facing the most likely attack point since Travis was too scared to handle anything but a dead spotlight. And really couldn't have aimed and shot if he wanted to because he was clutching that dead spotlight like it was his salvation. As we went along, we heard them running kind of alongside us on the larger side of the grove and we were really wondering if trying to escape had been a good idea or not. We were about halfway down the driveway when one of them actually lunged at Brandon and my side. Brandon pretty much instantly fired the 20 in surprise and the critter ran off. I'm sure the critter ran off only because the gun blast surprised it just as much. It was there and gone so fast that we still didn't know what it was exactly. But we were as scared as we'd ever been because the woods were less than 10 feet away on either side of us and those things were fast as hell. After we cleared the grove, we actually didn't hear anything in the corn rows next to us, but that doesn't mean much. It's not hard for an animal to move quietly on black dirt between the rows. After a few terrifying minutes, we eventually made it to the vehicle, threw our stuff in and rolled up the windows. We breathed a sigh of relief and tried to figure out what the hell just happened for a good while before starting the engine and heading back to his place. We actually decided to go back the same night after dropping of the dead spotlight wielding douche at his uncle's place. We took a car instead of the pickup, rolled up the windows and drove up the driveway. I actually saw one of them lunge towards my window quickly and bolt back into the woods once while going up the driveway, roughly the same spot it went after us on foot. That was the last we saw of them with our eyes. It was so fast that I still couldn't tell what it was. I can still replay that moment in my head vividly. Once we got up the driveway, we parked up next to the woods though and rolled down the window a crack so we could hear better. I bet the damn thing was about 6 feet away from my passenger window a few times, but I could never see it in the dim moonlight, but I could sure as hell hear it and so could Brandon. We also tried to flash on the car's lights a couple times just to try catch one in the open, but we never had the right timing. A day later we brought the truck back up there and camped out in the back. We wanted to kill one of these things and figure out what it was. We thought maybe one of them was out there, but we never really could tell for sure if we were just paranoid and hearing things at that point. We thought we may have heard them, but there was a breeze so it could have just been swaying branches. To this day, I still have no idea what it was. We're in west central Minnesota, and our only ideas of what it could be are some of the mountain lions rumored to be out in the area, or possibly wolves. The reason we thought mountain lions is just because they had such cat-like speed, and supposedly they've been sighted around here before. In the end, I'll never know for sure, but I'd never trade that experience for anything else.
So caves, creepy, dark, and dank. There are so many unexplored cave systems out there. How do we know that something prehistoric, old, or ancient doesn't dwell in one of these cave systems? Anyone have any spooky cave stories for us? Camping trips, caves and hiking. Moments of panic or paranoia where you thought you were being chased or tracked down. Maybe you thought you saw something in the distance or in the corner of your eye. When you're in darkness like that, I bet your mind plays tricks on you and messes with you a little bit. Both with your auditory senses and visual senses. After going to Carlsbad, all I can imagine is getting lost down there, wandering aimlessly through the hundreds of still unmapped tunnels. Trying to go in a generally upward direction, and vainly attempting to conserve your flashlight's batteries as much as possible while still avoiding falling into a deep pit. Standing in the middle of a colossal underground chamber, straining your eyes in every direction for a glimpse of light, but only soaking in what is likely to be your grave. Oh, you'll call for help, sure, and sound can echo a fair bit through those tunnels, but amid the miles of labyrinthine passages it's unlikely another caver would hear you, or find you if he or she did. Maybe in your desperation you'll hope you will stumble upon some strange benevolent cave creature to lead you to the surface. Or find a passage to some form of inner earth. Slowly it will dawn on you, however, that it seems much more likely if a cave creature larger than blind crickets existed down there, it would be the one doing the finding, not you. Yes, in your delirium you'll realize that for many hours now you have been followed, watched, stalked even. And as your flashlight slowly dims you'll grow fearful, afraid to look anywhere but straight ahead, for fear of what may or may not be lurking in the inky blackness. Finally your light will go out, and you'll be forced to sit and wait for the end or blindly crawl through the tunnels a few hundred more feet before giving up. Naturally your occipital lobe won't know what to do in absolute darkness, miles under the earth, and will trick you into thinking you can see the dark outline of your hand as you wave it in front of your face. That's when I imagine you'll finally hear the first noise in hours that you didn't make.
Alright, I got some OC for ya. Little preface though. I've lived in a former coal mining town for all of my life basically so far. The town is pretty big, it's a whole county actually, but only out of the town was the mining business big. Mostly in town all you get is a military training camp, farming, and sports. County fair too, but whatever. So most of the old mine shafts that were started and ended shortly after they were made were mostly filled up so no one could get in there. Geocaching got real popular a couple of years ago and there were a bunch of these mine shafts that were locations for them, so people would go there, get the cash, leave something, then leave. Not big of an issue. It was always warm near the mine shafts so snow would melt slowly near the fronts of them, making them great for year-round geocaching. Now we start the story. Me, 3 friends, and one of their GFs all get kinda drunk in the afternoon after our senior year. We'll call the friends A, B, C, and GF. So GF is a big hiker and is very fit, loves to geocache. Her boyfriend C is into local history like a dork, so they seem fit for each other with geocaching. C wants to go to one of the bigger, more remote mine shafts just for shits and giggles. GF agrees. Me, being the mother hen, which meant I was only lightly buzzed, drove them all out there. B was having fun with it, so he brought out a few of his hunting guns, which ranged from rifles to shotguns and a few pistols. I jokingly took a shotgun from him and said Evil Dead quotes the whole time. No one else takes a gun and I'm autistic enough to keep it in my hands as we go along. When we got there it was kinda warm out, which felt good since it was getting dark and colder. I would have said it was about 8 PM, and since it was June, it was just light out. GF and C say how there's a metal gate on the front of the mine, like one you'd see on a storage room thing, and it looked new. C says this isn't normal for mines, or at least he thinks so. GF suggests that they're finally putting another layer onto the front of the mine since people were getting into them. It had a star logo with a circle around it like it was a cheesy government movie. B gets cocky and tries to jank up the metal door by its small handle. He in turn yelps in pain as he pulls his hand back. Apparently the metal door was so hot it was hard to move your hand towards it. We all just assumed it was some kind of fumes from the cave heating up the door like a frying pan. I threw a large stick at the door and it started burning up really quickly after it hit the metal door with loud bang. The fire was blue. Like blue as if it was a giant pilot light, just coming off of a stick thrown at a hot as fuck door. We all thought it was fucking weird as hell, so we threw more sticks at it and got a small fire going of blue and greenish hues. C thought it might have been a gas from the cave doing it, but he didn't really care. As our fire was going, it was beginning to get dark, so we were going to head out and back home. Then we heard a loud metallic creaking noise. It sounded something out of a video game with how it just sounded so strong yet fizzled out so quickly. The metal gate fell off of its hinges and onto the ground, crushing the blue fire really quick. We looked inside of the mine shaft that was there, GF using her phone sort of as binoculars, which caused her to scream and get into the car. I looked in the mine among the blue fire and saw this blob of tannish grayed skin being illuminated by the fire, so it just seemed to be a bright blue. It was shiny like stone, but leathery in different areas. There were like 7 faces we could see if the bottom ones rubbed red from the movement. We slowly noticed it had actually been moving closer, so B decided to start shooting at it without even worrying about anything. We could hear the thing in there start coughing and hacking. It's breathing hard and strained with some small bits of black liquid coming out of it from the looks of the lighting. I took up the job of shooting off my grand total of 2 shots in the gun, attempting to reload, but then giving up and jumping into the car with A, B, C, and GF. All of us get really jumpy during the ride home, but we all calm down and start thinking we're badasses. Eventually realized we most likely uncovered some weird ass bullshit in the middle of the woods like we were a group out of a horror movie. Try not to speak of it again. Everyone else moved or tried to move out of the town after GF and C left together. I went to college, and B has pretty much given up on hunting and only shoots in the range. I tried looking the mine up long after this and literally only found it on an old map of the town from the late 1890s from some site that sells maps. Tried looking for it again only to find that site was taken down. Look up the public city hall records about mines, find it on there, save it, later on it's removed saying this document doesn't exist. Basically, I was in your standard group of friends find a creepy creature and now there's no trace of it.
Blackmail, the secret spot where people's alien letters arrive. There is often talk of what humankind's discussions with alien beings might be like in the event that an extraterrestrial civilization were successfully contacted. And yet, despite this, there are those among us who have been sending their own personal messages to aliens for years. Whether extraterrestrials ever actually received them is a different matter altogether, though one thing is clear, we do know where some of the messages may have ended up. 12 miles away from the infamous Area 51 facility near Groom Lake, Nevada, amidst an otherwise empty and featureless stretch of highway stands a pair of white mailboxes. Mounted together on a single post, the battered containers are fitted with locks, and covered with stickers, scribblings, and graffiti of all kinds. Each of the boxes bears a name. The larger of the two has the word Steve Medlin written in bold black letters, and the one beneath it boasting an even simpler and recognizable term, alien. The mailbox, while existing in close proximity to Area 51, does in fact belong to a real-life person named Steve Medlin. Thus, no mail delivered here is received by any of the 4 or 5 species of extraterrestrial visitors presumed by some to be living in an underground complex below the base. According to Slate, Medlin, rather than being a go-between for the secret government, is a rancher who has lived nearby since the early 70s. He and his wife Glenda moved to a 900-square-mile cattle ranch in Tacaba Valley in 1973. That was 16 years before Bob Lazar appeared on television claiming that the Air Force base near the ranch, known unofficially as Area 51, was hiding alien spacecraft that crashed in the desert. Interestingly, during a recent visit to the site in July of 2014, YouTube user Wayne Lindbergh and his wife managed to speak with a Postal Service worker named Trish, an employee with the nearby Alamo, Nevada, post office, who provided some of the most up-to-date information about the famous, and at times unfortunate, mailbox. People have told me I should write a book, Trish explained. The lower box is the alien box, if you want to send aliens letters, she says, noting that vandalism to the mailbox over the years had caused Mr. Medlin to have to build the white casing around his box, which was originally black, along with the addition of the smaller box for people's alien mail. Along with letters from alien admirers, the Medlins, who added the box in 1997, the same year the roadway it stands next to was dubbed the Extraterrestrial Highway, say that some folks who visit drop money in the box. In truth, the occasional tokens are probably little consolation when compared with the damage inflicted on the box over the years, which at one time included the post it was mounted on being completely uprooted and tossed by the roadside. Technically, this constitutes vandalism of federal property, which can warrant rather severe penalties. Arguably, Mr. Medlin should be commended for being light-hearted enough to add a box just for alien letters, rather than a surveillance camera, booby traps, or other contraptions aimed at dissuading visitors from destroying his mailbox. Link to YouTube Area 51 mailbox postal worker interview. I thought that was pretty amusing.
Trish from Alamo Post Office.
How long have you been working this mailbox?
10 years.
Yeah. Post office.
Everybody. I've seen all people from all around the world. Germany. Asia, Japan, Australia, from everywhere. So.
I think you got some more coming here.
Yeah. Some of the most funniest, amazing stories. People have told me I should write a book.
Yeah.
You know, the Wyatt. I'm like, people have tried to stuff letters in there.
Oh, they think this is going to go to Area 51. They can reach them.
Yeah, and that's why the lower box is the alien box if you want to send aliens letters.
Was that added?
Yeah, that was added. It was actually, people have broken into this and actually pushed over, destroyed this mailbox. So you can see Steve Medlin right here.
So
but everybody has to leave their mark. See, Steve Medlin.
That's his mailbox.
That's his mailbox.
This is their ranch then.
Yeah,
they
all
live,
that you see.
They have a house out here somewhere?
Well, right there is the buildings.
They
Right
look
there.
like they're like 5 miles away or 10 miles. Yeah.
And anytime they go up to the mountains to gather cattle, they have to report in whose vehicles.
Oh yeah, because they would be on Air Force property.
Mhm.
So
You guys
hopefully
have
they
the
don't
same-
have too many tourists coming out to their ranch.
They do it all the time.
Coming out to
Yep, going out to their property, going beyond the... He had to build this, he had to weld all this in because they were actually...
And they're still trying.
And they're still trying.
So this one down here that says UUFOH.
Yeah, that's the alien
Who
one.
owns that? Is
That's
that?
Jim Medlin's.
Oh, he just added it for fun.
He added it for the aliens. Yeah.
So how often do you do mail delivery?
Mail delivery is 6 days a week, like normal. You know. And I'm a part-time employee, so. But yeah, we got to be real careful. People, you know, still breaking in. I mean, the tourism used to be good.
Oh yeah.
For the past number of years, they're hurting.
Yeah.
The 80s and 90s is when it was good to visit and everything. But yeah.
You need another incident.
No, we don't need any more of the crazies out here. People say that the dust devils that you see out here are portals to the mothership, and it's like, really?
You've had no UFO experiences.
Never.
Yeah.
I've lived here, 18 years now?
18.
My
Okay.
husband was born and raised here.
And he's never seen anything either. Okay.
We have, all the planes and stuff that
Yeah.
fly out in the desert and do their maneuvers and
And this is from
practicing.
Nellis.
Huh?
This is from the Air Force Base.
Yeah. It's just the Air Force needs a place to practice.
They dropped A-bombs once, yeah.
All around here. Actually, this entire valley is still radioactive. They monitor all this, all
From the
this
50s.
valley.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why coming through here, I'm not too concerned because I'm not here all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a representative of the mailbox now.
Well, somebody, should have told this story a long time ago.
Exactly. It's to my list of...
So I'm a poet.
Oh.
The website with poetry.
Okay.
So come take a look.
Nice meeting you.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Good luck with the post office. We love them too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
This is gold.
Walking home from party late one evening. Several guys were following me, as my drunk ass managed to piss them off by existing. Try to walk faster, to no avail, as I'm drunk as shit. Catch me in some random college student neighborhood. Oh shit, my ass is about to be beaten. Still in talking phase. Lights flick on in the house. 3 guys in full musketeer garb walk out. Leader is some blonde guy with a beard, eye patch, and some weird ass accent. What sort of ruffians would be accosting someone outside our residence? Stand and deliver. Guys start yelling at them to fuck off, that I deserve to get my ass beaten. Very well, then. Draw steel, you blackguard. All 3 of them draw rapiers on their belts. Guys run. I know not why those foul men sought your harm, but come and tell us the tale, stranger. Spend remainder of evening drinking mulled wine with lunatics. Bunch of Swedish reenactors live there. Blonde guy is actually missing an eye, lost it in a machine shop accident. Stagger home completely drunk with a hat. I have no idea people like that existed. Or had the money to rent a house. Fucking epic. This. 1,000 times this. It was weird. I still go drinking with them on occasion. They actually got picked up by the cops once for pulling shit like that. In green text format. Wandering around with unsharpened fencing sabers, full musketeer gear at 2 a.m. Looking for parties just breaking up, fights. Bitches love musketeers apparently, Swedish accents just get more ladies. Find a fight. Whip out sabers, demand they break things up in the name of Carl 16th Gustav. Oh shit, police. Everyone's getting arrested. Jens uses only phone call to order Chinese food, curses for 5 minutes when they won't give it to him. Best $600 fine ever. Holy shit, this is still being posted? I figure IO/TG/ a bit of an update on these guys. Their leader, oh he of one eye and little common sense, nearly had his visa revoked for these kinds of shenanigans. One too many arrests meant that his right to stay in the country was contested, and he had to go to court to defend himself and prevent his visa from being revoked. I was his ride to court, and had to testify to the board that he shouldn't be deported for lack of common sense or social normality. His defense? A written speech, about 3 pages long, about the rights of man, the education he has received here, and the opportunities for a one-eyed machinist. The spirit of his crimes were all in defense of people who would otherwise suffer. For other witnesses, he had some of the random people he'd helped out, including one memorable point where a woman, nearly on the verge of tears, pointed out how he'd taken on a guy threatening to rape her and carrying a knife by whipping out a fencing saber, disarming him, and mocking him in his thick Swedish accent so that the girl could call the cops. Something like a dozen people all showed up, explaining how this dude, despite his eccentricities, made the country better. He was not deported, and lives here to this very day, stalking the streets in musketeer garb, rescuing drunks, and dispensing his own brand of justice.
ITT, Camp Stories. Here's mine. Story 1. Be me, 14 at the time. Be at 3-week-long summer camp. Bad year for bugs, insects everywhere. This is important later. At this camp, for 4 days nearing the end of the 3 weeks we hike a few miles to an even more isolated spot and camp there. This is the best part of camp by far. There's an open field that opens up onto a lake where we all meet, play frisbee, tag, sharks, and minnows, soccer, GAGA, football, squirt gun fights, fly kites, swim all day. Cook hot dogs and marshmallows all night. Sleep in small red cabins lifted off the ground by stilts, kinda like houses in Florida, in the woods. Each cabin has 6 folding chairs, a table, and 6 mattresses on the floor lit by an orange-tinted light bulb on a chain in the ceiling. The walls and floor are all white-painted wood. Each cabin has 4 other kids, a CIT, and a counselor. Those 4 days are fucking heaven. Come back for my 3rd year of this. So fucking excited. Especially excited for the cookouts. Hot dogs, esmories, pasties, but best are the tinfoil meals. Ground beef, cheeses, vegetables, spices, oils, and some chopped up hot dogs wrapped in a nest of tinfoil and put in the hottest part of the fire. Oh fuck is it good, especially after eating the slop they serve in the dining hall for 2 weeks. Anyway, as we're hiking there I'm practically jizzing my pants thinking about the tinfoil meal. We start our hike late in the day so that when we get there the fires are already lit, it's dark, and all the kids are starving for some tinfoil meals. Get there at about 9 o'clock, go to put our stuff in the cabins before roasting those bitches. Get in the cabin. Hear a strange noise, a sort of electrical, low buzz. It's dark. One of the counselors switches on their lantern. We see it. A giant fucking hornet's nest. I haul ass out of the cabin. The others aren't so lucky. The CIT gets stung 3 times and the whiny Mexican kid gets stung once. Turns out we weren't the only ones with bugs. Out of the 9 cabins, 3 had hornets, 1 had spiders, and 1 had a giant moth in it and tons of daddy long legs. MFW, instead of having a hell of the time eating the best camp food on earth, I have to march 3rd miles through the northern Michigan wilderness in pitch darkness surrounded by 50 whiny kids.
Alright/x/, I've been debating whether or not to post here since if anyone who knows me reads this they'll instantly know it's me, and since I signed an NDA it'd fuck up my future career opportunities, but to be honest I really don't fucking care anymore. Fuck you John, if you've screen grabbed this I know you use this shitty website religiously. Be me. Firewatch in Alaska. Boring as fuck, but at least it pays kinda well. I get my own lil Firewatch stand in the middle of fucking nowhere. Only contact with the outside world is my huge fucking ham radio, the free Wi-Fi, and the guy who delivers my supplies every 2 weeks, beer, food, water, etc. Basically I'm being paid to live in a huge fucking tower, all expenses prepaid, and occasionally look around for smoke or possible fires. The tower is cozy as fuck, cool in the summer because of how fucking high up it is, and warm in the winter because it's insulated and has an electric heater, no fireplace for obvious fucking reasons. So tall that I don't have to worry about any of the wildlife. The only thing I'm actually forced to do is the hourly radio checks, since if I don't respond, they'll send a whole fucking SWAT team to go check up on me. I'll explain later. You can basically do anything you fucking want up there since there's no one around to actually monitor you. Okay, enough context. Okay, time for the spookies. Be me. First month of the job. Kinda spooked out because of how fucking isolated I am. Just shooting the shit and definitely not masturbating when I hear something huge slam into the bottom of the tower. Whole thing shook. WTF.jpg. Decide to go take a look since I don't want this fucking tower collapsing while I'm stranded with the next visit from supply guy in a month. Take a flashlight and my company's standard Remington hunting rifle. Climb down the steps and point the flashlight at the wooden beams that hold the tower up. It's smeared in blood. Looks like the front of your car when you plow through a deer at full speed. What in damnation.mp4? Mangled deer corpse at the base of the steps. Holy shit. Absolutely torn to pieces. Only a few patches of skin still on. 2 legs missing. The head has been ripped in 2 from the center down. Hardly resembles a deer. Only knew it was a deer because its antlers have been snapped off and shoved into its throat. There are intestines and deer guts stuck in the beam supports. Something threw the mangled deer cadaver into the fucking beams. What in the actual fuck? Loud footsteps in the deep snow coming from the tree lean around the tower. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Take rifle off my shoulder. Point it at the tree line. Shout at whatever it is over there to fuck off as I slowly back up the stairs. Chamber round. Yell, I have a gun. Fire warning shot into woods. Hit something. WTF.jpg. Thing fucking squeals loudly. Actually causes my ears to bleed. Okay, fuck this. Run upstairs. Something fucking runs after me. Don't turn around. Run inside, lock the door, and close the shutters. Loud roaring from the bottom of the tower. Sounds like a mix of a bear's death cry, an elk, and a person getting CBT, don't ask. Thing starts climbing up the stairs. Shit. There's a small gate about a third of the way up meant to stop bears and shit from walking into my fucking living room while I sleep. It doesn't know how to open it. Fucking praise keck. After about an hour of it trying to push the gate open and it fucking scream roaring at me, it finally leaves. Don't go outside until the next day because it could be trying to bait me out. Deer is gone. Guts are gone. Blood smears are still there. No tracks because of the snowfall. Go back inside and play Skyrim. Act like it never happened. The first pick is the closest to my work environment since I'm not using real picks because I don't want you faggots calling the park ranger station up to tell them that Tower 7 is snitching. Sure thing, Anon. I guess I should elaborate on why the park rangers send a fucking SWAT team to check on you if you don't respond to the hourly radio check. Hourly radio check. Basically just responding to Tower 1, our coordinator, when he says our tower number. It's just shitty roll cal. Tower 4 doesn't respond. It's the 6 a.m. check, he's probably still sleeping, which is normal for Tower 4. 3 checks later. He's still sleeping. Okay, WTF. Tower 1 says that I and Tower 8 should go check on him if he doesn't respond to the next one since we're the closest. Next check comes and he doesn't respond. Well, fuck.jpg. Tower 8 rolls up in her shitty Land Rover and drives us to Tower 4. Pull up outside Tower 4. Huge fucking blood trail leading from the stairs and into the woods. Holy shit. MP4. Go up the stairs while Tower 8 tries to find where the blood trail ends. The bare gate has been torn off and is currently up a nearby tree. What? Climb upstairs. Slowly enter the living room with my handgun. We have to keep it on us at all times. The door is already open. Or rather, it isn't there. Enter room. It's fucking carnage. Blood and bits everywhere. There's half a fucking hand on the floor. No body. Seems like something burst into the room, tore up Tower 4, and dragged his body out. Remember that lower 8 is literally following the trail of whatever could tear through a thick wooden door. Fuck JPEG. Jump down the stairs and yell. She's staring off into the woods, gun drawn. Says she's not going there because there are bears and wolves and sheep. Wise. Call it in on the radio. An hour later a literal convoy of armed park rangers arrive. Tell us to fuck off. Never hear anything about it again. Have to give some shitty story to the others that he retired, at 22. There's still more. Since you've been a good boy, I'll keep going. Time to introduce you to the guy. The guy is literally just this fucking guy with a burnt face who wears a suit. He looks like he's been in a fire or something cause his face is scarred as fuck. He doesn't say anything. He just watches you from a distance, normally from the tree line, and right in his clipboard. Every single tower has seen him. Apparently according to Tower 1, he's been spotted here since the 50s. I've tried approaching him a couple of times but he'll just walk behind a tree or rock and fucking vanish. Looks like the Jim Carrey mask guy from Metal Gear Solid 6 just without the mask he wears. I've only heard him speak once. I was slowly approaching him from behind, trying to get the jump on the fucker, when he turned around, looked at me, and said cougar in a Norse/Russian accent before turning around and walking behind a rock. WTF. Turn around. There's a fucking cougar a few feet away from me. It prob's been trailing me as I followed him. It runs the moment I point my rifle at it due to fight or flight. I don't know if he saved me or tried to get me killed. Thanks Jim Carrey the mask. No one knows who he is or where he comes from. He just shows up, looks at you, writes in his clipboard, and fucks off. The closest he's ever got to someone was when he walked out of Tower 3's toilet and just left through the front door, or the time he appeared outside my fucking window watching me sleep. The local Inuit folk seem to know about him but they refuse to say any more than oh, him, right? Aside from that he's been here well before Whitey showed up and has been just a part of the local tribe's life for eons. They won't give the name they have for him or any stories about him, they just tell you to keep your distance and not to piss him off. I know it's boring but that's literally it. You'll see him around 8 times a month and then he'll disappear for 4 more to go spook the shit out of the other towers. Tower 9 leaves him lil goodie bags of spare food etc which he's seen him pick up and eat, so that's cool. Okay sure. Be me. Finish up the 8 p.m. hourly radio check, all the other until 6 a.m. are optional cause sleep is a thing. Load up Skyrim since it's the only game I can play because the Wi-Fi is down due to the snow. Play for like 2 hours. Knocking at window. Don't care. It's probs the guy or something, he does this often. Knocking continues. Ignore it. Loud slam at window. Holy shit, okay, you've got my attention. Open blinds expecting to see the guy and his stupid fucking clipboard. He's not there. Scan the windows. Nothing. 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 Child peeking from the comber. Nothing. Nothing. Wait, WTF. Snap back to window. Kid stops peeking the moment it realizes I've spotted him. Oh shit. $MP. Override my gut telling me not to go outside. If there's an actual fucking kid out there, then it'll die, and I don't want frozen kid corpse on my stairs. Open door. Absolutely nothing. WTF. Call out. Still nothing. Hear scuttling behind me. Turn around. Dead bird on floor that wasn't there before. WTF. There's a gift tag on it. A gift, from me to you. Okay, fuck this. Go back inside. Bring bird with me because I don't want to piss off ghost kid. Shut blinds. Go to sleep. I still occasionally get knocks at my window at god-awful hours of the night from time to time, with little dead bird gifts every 4 knocks. Pick is the type of bird it was. Okay, sure. Be me. Going for a walk because me bored. Tell radio I'm going on a walk so they don't send a fucking army. It's summer so no snow. Still bring the rifle because bears and shit. Have fun taking pop shots at deer to scare the shit out of them. Stumble across a huge camper van. We're not accepting campers cause COVID, so I go investigate to make sure it's not a hobo or cultist. I'll get into that soon. Place looks old yet new. Go inside after checking some of the tents outside. Looks like someone's been living here. Empty cans in the corner. Sleeping bag on the couch. What? JPEG. Doesn't stink like shit surprisingly. Old diary on the table. Take a read. It's from one of the people who used to work here. He got promoted from fire watch to park ranger and then retired. Have fun reading through his journal. It's about him coming back because he missed the openness of the forest. Starts talking about some guy in a suit in the woods. Realize it's probably about clipboard guy. He mentions chatting to him. He doesn't do that, but okay. Pretty cool. Last entry was a few days ago. Says he's going on a hike tomorrow to look for it. No later entries. WTF. Leave because it's getting late. Go back a few more times. Nothing changes. He doesn't come back. A few weeks later, basically forgot. On roll call when someone mentioned that an old colleague went missing. Oh shit, who? It's the journal guy. Wait, what? It's been months and they still haven't found him. I gave the journal to the park rangers in case it could help. They sent me an email the next day and said that telling anyone about the campsite or the journal will violate my NDA. I didn't mention the campsite. Rip Roger of Tower 11. Pick is the model of camper van. Okay, fine dude, I'll talk about the cultists. Be me. Radio call from Tower 8. WTF does this bitch want? Anon, get to the lake now. Okay, sure. Walk down to the lake. Holy shit. JPEG. Park rangers are holding a group of robed figures at gunpoint while local police call something into their radio. The guy from Tower 5 is also there, looks like shit. Then realize that there are a bunch of stone pillars that weren't there yesterday. WTF. JPEG. Go ask one of the park rangers. He's surprisingly chill. Explains that Tower 5 guy had gone for a walk through the 4th sector, the area me and Tower 8 manage, and happened upon the robed guys sacrificing a wolf. Robed guys proceed to flip shit. One runs at him with a knife. Stabs him in the thigh. Tower 5 guy proceeds to shoot him in the chest. All the other robed guys are now pissing themselves because Tower 5 guy has a semi-auto rifle and is now screaming at them as his leg starts bleeding. Tower 8 hears the commotion and carries it in. That's when the park rangers arrive and hold them all hostage. They pull the shot guy into one of their trucks and provides first aid. Tower 5 guy is former Spetsnaz who is living out the rest of his days in retirement in the Alaskan woods, go figure, so he's perfectly fine, did all the first aid himself while warding away knife-wielding cultists. Park ranger tells me to leave. I'm not going to argue with the park rangers, so I fuck off. Fill Tower 8 in once I get back. Later find out all the robed guys got off scot-free because one of the people in the local police force is a member of their cult and used his admin powers to save them from jail. All they had to do was tear down their stone pillars and promise to never come back and they could leave. Apparently their cult is the third largest faith in the region, with the native religion and Christianity ahead of it. They worship some water god called Malach or something, I don't know the name. Okay, sure, faggot. Local natives have a pretty small pantheon of gods. It comprises of Thul, the god of snow. He's like the Alfather, he's like a king sitting on a throne made of pine trees. Tamaka, speaker of Thul. Thul doesn't speak in a way humans can understand, so Tamaka translates for them. He's a bird/guy wearing a bird mask who's in a dress with no armholes, who has a scabbard on his left side. Flumene, wife of Thul, she's the god of warriors, mothers, and lakes. She's a woman with one arm riding on a huge EK that's larger than a tree. And then there's Todd. The natives refuse to say his full name, so they just shorten it. He's the god of fire, rot, mold, and decay, who's currently chained at the bottom of the lake in my sector. He has cougars and other lesser gods do his bidding since he can't do shit under the lake. Thul, Tamaka, and Flumene all live in the mountains away from humans because their voices scare them. They're all mute aside from Tamaka. OFC faggot, I can't believe you retards want to listen to these, but okay. Be me. Depression.jpg. GF at the time left. No friends because job means I'm far away from anyone for months. Isolation is getting to me. Decide enough is enough. Take a rifle and head into woods. Find nice clearing to do what I'm gonna do. Put the barrel in mouth and about to pull the trigger when I hear footsteps. Turn around and see an old man with a huge white beard wearing a bear pelt robe approaching me. Quickly hide rifle because I can't bear the embarrassment of being caught failing at killing myself. Dude walks up and says, "Can I sit with you, child?" in a deep, German accent. Sure thing, Santa. The man chuckles and sits with me. He's got a cool looking eye patch on one of his eyes. He starts talking to me, just casual convo. Talk back, chatting about sports etc. Asks what I'm doing out here on my own. Say hiking. He says he knows I'm lying. Proceed to vent to the old man about how shit my life is. Old man comforts me. Realize old man has a pet bird on his shoulder. Holy shit, that's badass. Man says his name is some bizarre Swedish shit. Feel happy now, no longer depressed. Finally have clarity on life. Old guy says he has to leave. LOL, bye. He gets up, walks over to a thin tree, waves, and walks around it. And fucking vanishes. WTF. Go check. There's no way he could have just walked around this thin tree and just disappear before he reached the other side. WTF. Take rifle and go home. Haven't felt suicidal since. Tower 7 Anon here, I'm back, and I've got more stories. I've asked around the other towers and I've collected some of their encounters with the weird shit about this forest. Be Tower 3 fag. Be one of the local natives. Company did a diversity expansion program to include more of the local natives for public image, I don't know. Fails spectacularly because the natives view the forest as a holy site and don't want to work in/near it. Their version of the devil is literally under one of the lakes in the park. Tower 3 fag, we'll call him Ricky since it's close to his IRL name, is one of the only natives who signed up for the program. Sent to replace one of the fire watch guys who retired. He gets there and sets up shop in the tower. Decides to explore the local wild mess. Says it was the first time he'd actually been to the forest and he wasn't expecting it to be so peaceful. Only heard stories about it. Basically just exploring. Old campsites etc. Notice something moving in the distance. Locks eyes on it. Nothing there. WTF, Same thing happens like 7 times. He's certain something is following him. Hears leaves rustling every now and again. Okay, fuck this. He heads back, hearing the rustling all the way back. Spooked as shit. Gets past the tree line, there's a clearing that surrounds every tower. Looks back. There's a literal clone of him staring back. WTF.jpg. Mimics his every move perfectly, all the way down to breathing at the same time as him. Just mirrored. Holy shit.jpg. Who the fuck are you? It says it back in his voice. Slowly walks back towards the tower. It follows. Stay the fuck back. Stay the fuck back. He pulls out his gun. Thing doesn't have a gun, so it just mimics him holding the gun but without an actual gun. It speaks. You back? He asks him WTF he's doing in the woods because the park is closed for the season. You come back woods. WTF. Asks what he's trying to do. You come back to the woods. Things start moving on its own. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. See you soon. Thing runs into woods. Never sees it again. Still has nightmares about it apparently. If you've got questions or want more stories, please just say. I've got to file some paperwork, so I might take a while. Okay, sure. Most of the stories from the other towers are just them seeing clipboard guy or them seeing things because of the isolation, so most are boring AF and unusable for green text, so I'll fill in with some I forgot to post earlier. Be me. It's camping season, so every night I have to deal with drunk teens and poachers. Just chilling when radio pings. WTF do those fuckers want? Put headphones on. It's one of the lead park rangers. Oh fuck. Anon, we've got some missing campers in your sector. We're sending Tower 8 and 5 over to help. Tower 5, Spitsnaz guy, is coming because me and him are the only people in Firewatch who know anything about tracking or finding missing people. I'm basically a veteran forest ranger at this point. Tower 8 is coming because it's also her sector, it's also her responsibility to go find the campers. Park rangers can't do it themselves because they have their hands full at the moment. Fucking rangers, never there when you actually need them. Wait for 8 to arrive so we can go pick up the Spitsnaz guy. Start heading towards where the campers said they were gonna be camping. Mangled animal corpses along the road every couple of minutes. WTF.jpg. Can't be roadkill because they don't look run over. Don't mention it since I don't want to spook the other two out. Arrive at the campsite. Park along the road and haul ass over to the area with the tents etc. They were camping in the middle of nowhere, so their campsite is in a tiny clearing in the middle of dense woodland. Fucking teens.mp4. Shout to see if anyone is here. No response. Fuck this. Check all the tents. Looks like everyone left in a hurry. Clothes everywhere, spilled food, etc. Where the fuck did these faggots go? After a few minutes of searching, we find one. He's in a tree. But fucking naked. Neck deep in panic. Guy is freaking the fuck out. Ask where the others are. He just says they went into the woods. Nice answer, dick cheese. Spetsnaz guy and Tower 8 try to get him out of the tree as I go look for the others. Walking back to the campsite. See something on a bench. Decide to have a quick look. Looks like a wet jumpsuit or something. It's folded really neatly, like in a posh English hotel or something. Pick it up and unfold it. It's not a fucking jumpsuit.jpg. It's human skin. Looks like what would happen if you scooped out everything from a corpse, so it's just an empty skin suit. Dick, balls, and everything. Holy shit, WTF. Drop it. It's still fresh.jpg. Blood hasn't coagulated yet. Immediately call it in on my walkie. Park ranger on the over end goes from bored and uninterested to full fucking panic mode within a few seconds me of explaining. Put skin back on the bench. Park ranger says they'll be there any second. 5 and 8 heard what was happening through the comms, so they're already bringing the teen to 8's Land Rover. Give him some clothes because he's naked AF, and that's not something I want to see. Guy just keeps rambling about how they went to the lake and pissed him off. He isn't talking about himself based on the way he's talking about him. Ask him why he was in the tree. He put me there. Guy's bawling his eyes out while rambling. For the first time ever, Spetsnaz guy is actually concerned. Park rangers arrive. Full fucking convoy of the fuckers armed to the teeth. Tell us to GTFO and give them the kid. We oblige, not wanting to face their fucking wraith. We TFO out of there. Later find out the skin belonged to one of the 9 kids who went missing. Rangers found 2 more skins floating in the lake. No trace of the other 6. Have to explain to the grieving parents that it was a bear attack. Fucking bullshit. The one teen that survived is sent to a mental hospital because his brain is completely fucked. Never hear anything about it again.